oh, what do we get? We got to do something so we can stretch it out a little bit longer.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Cloud.
This is We Watch Movies.
Just do it that time because I mentioned that you didn't do it last time, or what?
Yeah, it's probably because I wasn't doing anything else.
Oh, well. But you're never doing anything else. This is We Watch Movies, and this week you're going to want to grab your
Gallimimus shoes.
Because
we're doing Jurassic World too.
Yes. Which they did not number.
Appropriately titled Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom. I mean, I is it appropriate? I guess it's appropriately titled if you're talking about the franchise. Maybe.
Yes.
But
I think that's an inside joke they have.
But
we're catching on.
Well, it is weird because they've never really described it as like the dinosaur kingdom or anything before, have they? Like
No.
Nobody's ever described it that way. And also it's kind like in this now period of the universe, they're like they switched from it being park to world, even though it was still a park.
Yeah.
Even though it was like now it's a world. Like at the end of the movie, it's a world, but we had a movie in between where it was still just a park. And we've never explained what happened to those pterodactyls that just obviously left the island at the end of original 3.
Yeah.
But which
well, the biggest issue, if you are an American watching this, is you have to understand that everything that just happened is happening on American soil. There are people with guns who would gladly go out there and hunt these dinosaurs down. And it's not like there's thousands of them. You know, it's just a couple handfuls. So the idea of calling this a Jurassic World because now they're not trapped on the island anymore, it's like, no, now they're just free game for whoever can find them. So they're trying to make a really big sounding
In
deal.
America!
Yes, in America.
took me a while to find it. It was like searching the wrong folder. But
And it's just like, oh, well, there's like only one of this species that they saved, and it's going to get shot and killed, and now there's no more of it.
yeah, but life finds a way.
And now, our feature presentation.
This week's movie is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is a 2018 science fiction action adventure film directed by J.A. Bayona, I think? Starring Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Rafe Spall, Justice Smith, Daniela Pineda, James Cromwell, Toby Jones, Ted Levine, B.D. Wong, Isabella Sermon, Geraldine Chaplin, and Jeff Goldblum. It's actually with Jeff Goldblum, I think it says in the credits of the movie, because he's special, because he's Jeff Goldblum. How about a plot synopsis?
Clones!
Etc.
And auctioning dinosaurs off because some guy who's supposed to be in charge of an old man's leftover company is trying to make it grow, but by doing everything that he's told not to do. So they get some of the characters from the first Jurassic World movie together to save the dinosaurs off of the island that's exploding because volcanoes. And there's like, oh yeah, like here we got like some mercenaries / dudes who hunt animals, and they're gonna help you wrangle them up and take them to this other place that's gonna be safe. But we need your help, Chris Pratt. We need Star-Lord to come in and help get the blue velociraptor so it doesn't eat everyone's face, because that's what happens in every other movie. And he's like, okay. And so we get to watch videos of like Baby Blue, and it's adorable. And then it happens, and all kinds of shit hits the fan, and you're just left sitting there just like, what is this? It's clones, is what it is. It's clones. Because life finds a way. They didn't even fucking say that in the movie, did they?
No, No! They didn't say it in the movie! Jeff Goldblum gets this whole speech where he's like, this and that and other things I've said before. Doesn't even say that. It's disappointing. It's messy.
It is. You know, I'm wondering if it's messy because it's messy, or if it's messy because it's too crowded.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it is kind of like
I feel like they tried making 2 movies and then just like took half of each movie and just put it together. Because like the first half of it, they're on the island having to get stuff off the island, and then like the second half of the movie, it's just like, oh, it's this Indoraptor thing, and we're going to kind of talk about genetics and selling dinosaurs. And
well, I mean, that's kind of peppered in the first part. We get a lot more of it in the later part.
Yeah, but see, it's just peppered in. It doesn't feel like it's, and like the whole she's a clone bit.
Well,
like
that is bananas.
How'd you fuck that up so hard?
I mean,
like having it where it's like she can kind of hear it and they're hush hush about it. Like, okay, that's kind of interesting because it makes you, the viewer, kind of want to look into it a little bit, because maybe she is, maybe she isn't. You know, we don't know. But then it's just like, oh yeah, she's a clone, and it's like, well, you had to go out and actually say it. Thank you for ruining it.
But even without the clone stuff, the thing about this is difficult because the story is terrible.
Oh god, it's
like the story
horrendous.
is terrible, even without the little girl clone, because that's actually not important to the story really. But just like, and it's kind of really what we've seen before, because every movie except for the first one, somebody's after the dinosaurs to do something with them besides let people look at them. And so the idea that they just decide, like he says, you're going to weaponize them in this movie as if that's the first time anybody's had this idea. It's not. Like, people have said it before, I'm pretty sure.
Well, okay.
And they want to do much else besides just have the park. And so it's like the stupidity of we're going to open Jurassic World, even though people have tried this 2 or 3 other times and it always goes wrong. But that was 20 years ago. We'll just open Jurassic World. It'll be fine. We've figured it out. It's safe now. That was dumb. That was a dumb premise for the first Jurassic World, and then this like, it's a different premise, but it's equal dumbness and stuff we've seen before.
Well, like in the first one, nobody was really doing anything with the dinosaurs. They were just made. Here's the park. We're going to test the park out.
Wasn't that the Vincent D'Onofrio's character's plan, though, that he wanted to like sell them to people for reasons and stuff? Like, wasn't that his evil plan of evil?
Talking about Jurassic Park.
I know, but in Jurassic World, wasn't that his plan too?
No, that was he worked for the government.
It was the government?
Yeah. Like, he was part of the government that was like, hey, we want to use velociraptors in, like, Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was him.
Someone save us from the snakes! Release the raptors! This was a terrible idea.
And then, like, so you have Jurassic Park 2, and it's not as evil as much as it's just kind of cruel, and it's just like, we want to take dinosaurs, and we want to make the park in the States, and it'll be at the San Diego Zoo kind of stuff, and it'll be fine. And then it's just like, well, yeah, you got a T-Rex that's stomping through San Diego, so get wrecked. And then 3 just kind of goes back to 1, where it's just like, they're still on the island, but there just happens to be people who shouldn't be there, and we got to go rescue the people.
Yeah, which is I think one of the things that I really like about 3 is it's like, we're doing something different. Like, we're using the dinosaurs have been alone on this island for a while, and things have happened, and we don't know what might have happened or what we're going to find, or if anything's going to work, or if we're just going to get killed right away. But we have to go. There's a thing to do, and they bring Dr. Grant back, and like, I like 3 more than most people. I like it quite a bit.
Hey, Alan.
Like, I know it has problems, but I still really, really enjoy it. And I like the stuff in the cage with the pterodactyls is really, really good. But
then we move on to Jurassic World. And it's been a while. And they're like, okay, we're going to make a new movie about dinosaurs. We'll just call it Jurassic World instead of Park. Kind of like how you have Disney World, and it's just a park. but with less, flesh-eating monsters, because they're not real dinosaurs. And then it's like, okay, well, we can't just have dinosaurs on an island and people get hurt because of human error. Like, now we have to have the government step in and be like, yeah, let's just take these animals and use them to kill people we don't like. So now we got to have all these other scenes. And now we're going to reinforce it even more for Fallen Kingdom. Why?
Yeah, except now it's not even just our government. It's just like, let's sell them to it. Like, it really is that whole auction scene is like the evil scientist in is it Anne Robin that has poison ivy? Yeah, it is. It's like the guy, like the plant guy that's like gonna sell Bane to people. Like, it feels like that kind of scene. It's just how many different stereotypes of people from various countries that might have evil plans to dominate stuff can we have show up, and we'll just auction it off to everybody. And
wait, don't you mean
this
Uma
time,
Thurman?
No, she's not selling it to anyone. The doctor is selling.
Oh,
and she doesn't want it
name.
to.
Doctor's name.
I don't remember the doctor's name. That makes Bane. But it feels very much like that. Like, let's just sell it to whoever has money, and never mind what they might use it for. And that, like, the doctor in this is like, but what, they could do things, or they could, like, now they have their own and they can just make more. And so he's concerned, but nobody's listening to him. But they're not concerned at all. Also, didn't he say we got like 11, or what was it, 11 or
different species,
but then the auction goes on a long time and they make a ton of money, like more than they expected to.
Oh yeah.
And they just like keep bringing out, and it's like, I thought you only had 11. But maybe it's like they only had 11 species and they had multiples of some of the not as big ones or something, but it didn't seem like there were that many trucks in that convoy.
No.
So they seem to be selling many, many dinosaurs. Maybe they'd already collected some before, and I don't know. But, I mean, the collecting thing is weird anyway, because they can make more of them.
Yeah.
They have so I guess maybe they need the money to make more of them, and so he does say something about, like, this is just seed money.
Yeah, it's startup money.
And so they don't have enough money, and so they need full-on dinosaurs right now, so that because they can't wait to make new ones, or they don't have money to. But like all of that, like I don't care about like any of that. Like the auction business is like doesn't really matter.
Well, like that's why the second half of this movie, like it feels out of place, in the sense that like I can understand a portion of it needing to exist just to connect other story plots that happen, but I really do think like Fallen Kingdom should have just been about saving the dinosaurs, and then they could have taken the second half and then expanded on it, and then just had it be the third movie.
Maybe, but I mean, I guess there's not that much of maybe there's not a whole movie there, or at least not a whole movie that they thought was interesting enough, but
there wasn't enough of that.
I mean,
here.
Well, the problem really is, which I said that it's difficult because the problem is the story is terrible, but it does have some really effective moments and sequences, some really good moments that are usually not story moments, but there's some good action, there's some good, like when the like the whole like the volcano is erupting scene.
Yeah,
is really intense and really well made and really good. And then even the end of that, where you see the there's no such thing as a Stegosaurus anymore, right? Like it's called something else now.
No. That's
but
that was a Brachiosaurus. The
Yeah.
Brontosaurus is
The
now
Brontosaurus,
a Patasaurus.
But what?
In other words, what we saw was a Brachiosaurus.
It was a Brachiosaurus. Okay.
Yeah,
So
Stegosaurus
that one.
has the things on its back and like the.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lost World.
Uh,
Stampede, Earl, get out the way.
but just having that the last moment we see of the dinosaurs they didn't save be one that wasn't going to hurt anyone just like be sad and disappear into the smoke, and you know that it, like, if you couldn't do that, like if you use like a T-Rex or something, or even something not as dangerous as that but still dangerous, something not an herbivore, then that image wouldn't work, because you would think, oh well, it would have just killed us anyway, because, and so it can just die because we would have killed it if we could have, if it was chasing us. But you wouldn't kill that one because it's not going to hurt you. It might step on you accidentally, but it didn't mean to. And so just watching that one that wasn't going to hurt anything just die of the volcano and just have it be lit in silhouette by the fire of the lava through the smoke, and it's put right up to the edge of the water and it can't go anywhere. Like, that was effectively sad.
Yes.
And
I can also tell you, I understand why they use that one, because it's also the first one we ever get to see.
well, it's that too.
And it does the whole same, let me kind of stand up on my hind legs, and like, oh, remember when I was eating on that tree and Grant couldn't stand because it blew his fucking mind.
Well, and it did, and
the same
ours. I mean, like, go back and listen to the Jurassic Park episode. Just like hear us just go on and on and on about how amazing that moment is, and how it, like, dinosaurs were real for him and for us and for everyone who saw that movie at the time, and nothing has ever matched that moment in the rest of the series or in much else of movies besides. But they try to like make you remember that moment directly later when they're like locked up in the cell and she's talking to Chris Pratt and she's like, do you remember the first time you saw a dinosaur and it was like they were real? And like she's basically describing what it felt like to people seeing original Jurassic Park, but it's really heavy-handed and it doesn't work at all, and this movie doesn't earn it.
Nope.
And there's nothing like that in this. Even they try to have the paleo veterinarian woman. She has like her first moment of seeing a dinosaur, and they try to play it off as if it's the same as the Dr. Grant moment, and it just it's not at all. It doesn't matter. And some of it is because I think you can never recreate that moment really, because it works because it's the first time he's seeing a dinosaur, and it's the first time we're seeing a dinosaur. And so we have like a shared experience of it, like we being people watching the movie.
Yeah.
And so you have a shared experience with him. And because we've had 5 movies now, that you don't have that moment anymore. And also they shouldn't want that moment, because so much of this movie and the previous movie even is dependent on reminding you that those movies actually happened. They have all the stuff where they find the jeeps and things in the other one, and so they remind you this was the same island, this is where Jurassic Park was, we used the same columns from the gate and everything. And so they continually remind you, yes, this actually happened, this happened before. So you can't say, well, that happened, also we're going to make it happen again and expect it to be effective. Actually, almost all of the action is really good, and anytime people talk, it's mostly not very good.
No.
Although sometimes, I guess it sometimes kind of is when it's character stuff and not story stuff. Like when they're in the back of the truck with the T-Rex and they're trying to get the blood. Like that scene really works and is really enjoyable because it's just them playing off each other, and there's no like bogus story that has to happen because of it. Like it's dependent on the needing the blood, but it kind of doesn't matter because it's just, well, we have a thing to do and we're doing the thing, and the thing is difficult and goofy stuff is happening while it's happening. And also a kind of like nervous tension, scary kind of stuff, because they are trapped in a thing with a T-Rex that might wake up anytime.
But do you know what kind of kills that scene though? When it wakes up and the lady goes through the top, but the dude has to jump through its mouth, even though he could have just easily climbed on top of it and went through the roof of the...
Well, I think it's supposed to be kind of small, that she has a line where she says, I can fit through the bars.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
That
like,
as she goes through. So I think it's supposed to tell us she's small enough to fit through, Chris Pratt's not.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You can't just
you don't see him try it, and
you
can't
have to
make
show
it.
You have to show her like having to shimmy through the 2 bars, and it is a tight fit. Otherwise, like she just
goes
like,
right
yeah,
through
just
real
like, no
easy.
problem.
It's not even a thing. but they do. It is kind of an interesting question. Should we just let the dinosaurs die? Because the first instinct to jump to is yes, we should, because they tried to kill everybody, but not all of them did.
Well,
and
I think it's one of the issues where I can't stand on a moral platform and say yes or no. I kind of have to stand on a political platform. It's because like no one really owns the island, because like no one is supposed to go to it. But if you were to take the dinosaurs off of it, where would you take them? Mm-hmm. Like, who would have the right to have them in their possession, kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Well, it would have to be like a government thing, so there's no ownership. It's just like a protected land area. But
and that's where that problem would get involved. Like, if it wasn't so much of a time crunch issue, I'm sure there would be like all kinds of nations trying to bundle together, be like, yeah, we can save the dinosaurs, blah. But it's the fact that it's like, oh yeah, we have like 3 days.
Well, that might have even been interesting if we take away all of the auction stuff and we're just making the movie you suggested of having we just have to get the dinosaurs off just the rescue the dinosaurs version. Then maybe you could have a 2012 like coalition project that just everybody comes together and you just have the jackets with patches from each of the like the flags of each of the countries and everybody's working together.
Big fucking rescue mission. And yeah, see, like that would be really cool.
Then you're kind of playing off of 3 where it's a rescue mission, but this time it's the dinosaurs and not the people.
Yeah. And then of course, you can't just communicate with the dinosaurs, so you don't know what they're going to do. And like that itself
you have interesting difficulties of the different kinds of species have different problems of capturing them or transporting them, and the race against time is there the whole time, because like there is the race against time, but then the race against time is over and then we still have a whole lot of movie left, and then I guess that just the tension is we have to stop the bad guys because they're bad and they're selling the dinosaurs.
Well, like that's the thing is,
and
like,
they don't even lean on the like, well, we could sell them to people to hunt or this or that. They don't even lean on any of that. And we don't know if all of them are going to make, like, you can't really use most of them for, like, weapon purposes, because that's what the new one they invented is for, because you can train it. And they can't do that none of the rest of them are like that. So you could just let a dinosaur loose in a battlefield or something, but then you don't know what's going to happen.
Well, it's like, there really isn't a direct bad guy to fight against in this one. Because it's like, yeah, we know there's like the crooked businessman auctioning them off. We know there's the asshole that obviously gets eaten by the end. Like, so much ties up before the end of the movie that it's just like, oh, what do we got? We got to do something so we can stretch it out a little bit longer. We got to do something so we can stretch it out a little bit longer. And it's just like all these little bits and pieces. And of course, the guy, the asshole, he has to live long enough for the T-Rex to come and pick his ass up.
Yeah.
How did it sneak up on him? I have no clue.
I don't know. There are weird things like
how
that.
How the Spinosaurus sneak up on people? Like, how does all of this, like they're so big and heavy, they make a deal about when they walk, you can hear, like, the thunderous footsteps. And then it's just like, but for this scene, we need it to, like, walk on its tippy toes to sneak up on them so we can have, like, the camera, like, over the shoulder, and then they all look, and there it is. What?
Yeah, it's the giant loudest ever Terminator robot in Terminator Salvation that sneaks up on them in the gas station and no one notices, and then it's the loudest thing ever immediately after it's visible, and it just doesn't make any sense at all.
Like, you can't hear it walk up, but you can hear the phone in its stomach. Oh,
that's true. I guess they did do it before, didn't they? Well, isn't there like water though?
No, they're by the fence.
That's later, I guess. Yeah.
And the phone was actually in a thing of shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I remember my Jurassic Park movies. It's just so all over the place, and there's no real need for some of the scenes. Because like, yeah, a lot of the action looks good. But then we have the Pachycephalosaurus, and it just so happens to be in.
Is that the headbutt one?
Yes. Yeah, and it's just like right there, and he can whistle at it, and it's just like, bro, don't whistle at me, and then just starts headbutting the wall.
Well, that was weird because it's like, did he train this one too? Like,
Yeah.
did he work with the other dinosaurs besides the raptors at the park, and we just weren't told this? Like, I wasn't ever really sure why that was like. Cause does it just hate whistling really bad, or like, what's happening?
But, you know, then they use it as almost a gag for, like, the next few scenes.
They do, yeah. Well, yeah, and that part of that sequence, it doesn't really work because it is kind of overly jokey. But then the like the fight with the like dino prods is pretty well done, and like I did like that. But it's such a shame because there's like
Dino prods. What
cattle
fight?
prods for dinosaurs.
What fight?
The fight, like Chris Pratt fights the guard dudes, and they're swinging around
like,
the electric prods, and
like man-on-man fight.
yeah,
Okay, yes.
like that worked pretty well. Kind of reminded me of episode 3 a little bit, but it's just like it's good action is bad story.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
That's. I mean, I know, I guess, like, great story has not really been, like, even the first Jurassic Park, it's not like, oh, the story is just like, but it's well structured.
Well, the story doesn't suck.
Well, the story doesn't suck, yeah, but it also kind of doesn't matter because it's like, we're going to set it up, and then we're getting killed by dinosaurs, and so then we have to cleverly escape from getting killed by the dinosaurs, and it's going to be really harrowing because we're only going to almost escape a bunch of different times. They did try, I guess, to keep the kids are useful when the rest of the people aren't around kind of thing that they did with the kids from the first one, because she's sneaking around, she finds out what's going on, she tells James Cromwell, which then doesn't amount to anything because then he just gets murdered.
Well, like, I don't like any of that because, okay, so you have the old man, you have the cloned daughter, and then you have the nanny. All right, and at no point does, okay, because, like, here's the hierarchy that I have in my head, because, like, this dude isn't the old man's son. He's just
a dude.
Yeah, he's just a dude that works for the company, and he's kind of in charge because the old man can't handle it because he's an old man.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. But that doesn't give the dude any, like, leeway to say, like, what to do with the child. Like, regardless of what the child is. And so, like, the fact that the nanny's just such a pushover, it's just like, oh yeah, old man's dead, get out of here. You're like, really? Like, all of this is just, like, so... We're just going to just push all of this stuff over that could be potentially good, just because, like, it's like, we don't want this. We don't want to create, like, anything meaningful or something useful for another movie or something that you can, like, sink your teeth into. It's just like, oh yeah, she's a clone. Get out of here. We don't care that there's past ones. Yeah, I killed him, but I won't tell anybody because I'm just going to get eaten later. Well, like, there's just so much stuff.
I mean,
in that house is just shit.
How quickly he just dismisses her from needing to be around, and that he's just so, like, cold suddenly doesn't make any sense with that. Just a moment before, he played off that he just discovered that he was dead. Like, he opens the door to the room, pretends to notice, and then, like, yells dramatically for her to come because something has happened, and then she comes in and he's like, he's dead, and then he just turns really cold and says, well, you're kind of fired and get out. Yeah. And like, so it's like, well, you played it off at first like you didn't want anybody to know what was going on, and then you sort of give it away kind of that you at least don't care that he's dead, even if it doesn't necessarily say that you killed him. But also,
where's his manservant?
If they
butler, whatever. If
they do an autopsy, you're gonna be able to tell that he was suffocated with a pillow. Like, you're not going to. It's not gonna just seem like he just died. It's not like he had to have the oxygen or something to stay alive, and he just turned the oxygen off, and like it wasn't anything like that because he didn't set up anything like that. And he had oxygen that he was on, but we did see him without it other times, and that wasn't what he did to kill him. What I did really like, see, that's another thing. They think every now and then they manage to make an effective moment where he like the dinosaur in the smoke. So we see him pick up the pillow, and we know he's going to kill him.
Yeah.
But then they cut away and we don't see it.
No.
And so like we imagine that he did kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's not till later, and the little girl is climbing in the window, and the camera's inside the room, and you can't see him on the bed. But you can see the window, and you can see the heart monitor screen.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that there's a flat line. Mm-hmm. Now they cheat sound again there because you don't hear the flat line until she sees it, and then you hear it.
And God, that was annoying.
Doesn't make sense, but so you just like you see it and you're like, oh, he is dead, and she's about to see it, and like that's going to be devastating. And so they introduce the officialness of his death that way in a really interesting way, in a really effective way. But then they screw it up by not having the sound. But they only screw it up because I didn't know there was a sound until there was a sound. And so when it first happens, I'm like, oh, I can see the flat line on the screen. And it's kind of sad.
And then she walks up, and then we can hear it.
And then you hear the sound. And I'm like, oh, wait, where was the sound a moment ago? And so then it becomes a problem. But
I mean, like, I'm pretty sure she doesn't spend time in other hospitals or around other people hooked up to these machines that died to know what the sound represents.
Well, I mean, she's seen TV, right? Like,
probably with dinosaurs in it.
Well,
like that seems to be the only thing she's involved with.
There's lots of flatlining
in this movie.
Well, I mean, there's not. There actually is, at least for a while, very few people that actually get killed. There's a lot of dinosaurs that get killed, but we mostly don't see it. But not a lot of people get killed. And then people start getting killed later. Which I guess is kind of structurally the way the original one works, because people don't start getting killed until it becomes dangerous. But in this, it's dangerous the entire time. And now, is this the least or the most amount of people that we've ever had return from a previous movie? Because we get,
Yeah, I think
Jeff Goldblum.
It'd be 3 in total for this one.
Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. So we've never really gotten more than like one or two before. Because I guess you do get Hammond and Jeff Goldblum in 2.
And that's like it. And then you get Grant in 3.
And you get Grant.
And then new characters in 4.
Hammond is dead. And everybody else is different, right?
Yeah.
And then in 4, you still get... There's Jeff Goldblum, right? In original Jurassic World, or is there?
I don't remember him being in Jurassic World.
I can't remember. Jimmy Fallon was. Which it would have totally ruined the intensity of the escape from the ledge scene.
If that video with him on it came on.
But it would, yeah. But I still kind of miss that it's not there.
Well, I think that's interesting. That setup for the scene, because it looks like the same tree that they hid behind in the first movie. Whenever the Gallimimus were like running across, and they're like, oh, we're gonna hide behind. I mean, why not? But it's like, oh, here's like this fallen tree, and then it's just like, oh, that really, really does look like the tree from the very first movie, and stuff's running all over it, and it's getting destroyed, like the franchise. But then there's the ball there, and I'm just wondering, why is that one particular ball there? Because if you remember, in Jurassic World, all of them were recalled, except for the one that went off, that had the 2 kids in it, and that one was crushed.
Yeah, so it's not that one.
So, like, did some dinosaur just like come along, was like, hey, this sphere is pretty tight.
I don't know. It's open. Also, the door is open. Now, actually, I guess the network specialist guy
Yeah,
he's really annoying.
He
and
is
his
annoying.
I'm scared of everything thing. It doesn't get old because it starts out old. Like, it never works ever.
Yeah.
It's not funny
Well-
even the first time. It's never funny any of the many subsequent
I
times.
don't like any of those characters.
I don't. Well,
Like-
I don't really like any of them, but they're mostly not annoying. Like, he's annoying, like, all the time. And I guess he's annoying the other characters, but that still doesn't. It's like the bad things in Duke Nukem Forever. It's like Duke comments and is like, "This sucks. I hate doing this." And it's like, yes, except you're still making us play it. So yes, it does actually suck.
Yes.
But it sucks for us too, and it makes the game suck. So, like, you can't say he's annoying to the other characters. It's also annoying to you, but it's okay because he's annoying the other characters. Like, no, it's still annoying to me. I'm still having to put up with it because I'm watching this movie.
Well, it's
and
like-
I don't like it.
Like, I don't like him because he just whines and
He just
complains, and
whines.
it's just
And it's not
it's
like, I guess he's supposed to be the Dr. Malcolm character,
no,
but
not even close. Like, Malcolm was actually doing shit.
well, he was, yeah, but he's the one. He's always worried, and he's always like saying, "We this could be dangerous. We better think about this. Do we really want to get in there? Do we really want to do that? Like, you better worry. Like, really better. We're gonna die." And that's kind of what they try to have him do, but it just is. It's.
Well, the only
I mean, he has the problem of not being played by Jeff Goldblum, so that's a problem to start with. That some of that you just get for free just because it's Jeff Goldblum.
well,
But-
like, there's only two scenes that he's in that are any good. The first one is whenever the dude on the boat thinks he's one of the hands and drags him off, because I'm like, oh god, we're done with him forever.
Nope.
But
Yeah, it's like when you think that the twins get killed in Transformers 2, and nope, they don't.
yeah. and then the second scene that's actually good was whenever he shows back up and he's wearing he's like
Oh, yeah,
incognito
he's like
in the
scrubs
lab.
and things. It's like, but when did he do that, and where did he
Yeah.
get the wherewithal? Like, he has not shown any initiative or ability to do anything but be afraid. So it
Yeah.
kind of doesn't make sense when he's disguised in the lab. And what was he doing there? How did he get there from the docks?
But see, the
Doesn't have
only
any
reason I like that
identification.
is because BD Wong is yelling at him.
He's yelling.
And that's what I wanted to do. Is I wanted to yell at him, but like, oh no, there's a character doing it for me. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's
the-
a bad guy character.
Eh.
So
He did okay. So while his acting is not what is in question, it is his character, and his character
yeah,
is
his
not.
acting is fine.
His character is not as good in this one as it was in Jurassic World. Because like in Jurassic World, it felt like there was more stuff that he was involved in. This one, it just feels like he showed up to be like,
Well, he
we're
shows up
trying to
late.
do this, and you're messing things up because I need this, you dumbass.
Yeah, which I don't really
He was
understand the mechanics of, like, so Blue is already trained, and so if we get Blue's DNA, then we'll be able to train this one, but also we'll still need it to be tied to Blue to train it as its mom, even though it's a different kind of dinosaur.
Well-
And, like, that seems like not really how it might work. It's just they say that that's how it will work, but it seems really complicated.
Well, from what my brain came
Don't they
up
have
with,
Blue's DNA anyway.
they
They
technically
made
do.
Blue, so
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Is like they
Unless,
already
did they lose all the lab samples from the island? Like, they're still on the island because
well,
they're like
obviously-
getting them to collect.
They obviously
samples.
had something to make the Indoraptor with to begin with.
Yeah, because
but that's not even my thing.
half. Yeah,
Because there's eggs. We've seen the eggs. That's not even my thing. My thing is he mentions that he has to have Blue in good health. Why would he need Blue in good health? My thought is, well, if Blue's supposed to be a mother, they could always sedate Blue and then artificially inseminate her with what they need, so she creates the eggs, because that would actually create the bond. She'd lay the eggs, and those would be her children. So, Blue is controllable. She'll teach her children to be controllable, and then those would actually be the genetic modified ones that they will use.
yeah. Except the problem with that is that Blue is controllable by Chris Pratt and
yeah.
nobody else.
No.
So and,
And
he's
no
not
one-
going to play along.
And no one thought of that.
They don't even seem to mention it. They don't think about it at all. It's just like, well, but wait, yeah, she's trained by him and just is after everyone else, and he has to be really careful even sometimes.
Yeah.
So also all of the mercenary types are idiots because like he almost has Blue captured and then they screw everything up by shooting early.
Well, like that scene, it's like even with that, like that scene only exists so we can see him lay there and then almost get washed away by lava.
Which also, they just let him lay there. They just leave him there.
Yeah.
Like, I guess they don't need him anymore.
Nah, they have...
And they have veterinarian girl tied up, but...
I don't like her either.
I know, but she's not as annoying as the other guy.
Debatable, but...
Usually not as annoying as the other guy, I guess.
The thing with this is that her character exists just to be... what's that term? I need you to do this for me. Like that kind of person. Fuck, I was just about to say it. Now I can't remember the term. I'm sure someone's going to hear this and be like, oh, it's so-and-so, you dumbass.
Yeah.
But like that's all she exists for. Is so someone can come up and say, hey, we need you to keep this raptor alive. No shit. What do you think I'm trying to do here, you dumbass?
Yeah.
Like all that. Like I need a blood sample from Blue, and she's like handcuffed there. It's like, all right, you fucking get it. It's all you.
Yeah.
Like it's just like she exists so that those kinds of scenes can happen, and those kinds of scenes are not needed.
No, you don't need them at all.
Yeah, it's just like let's have some conflict. Let's have a little bit of arguing here, just so we can have it, not because it actually means something. And seriously, it's like the doctor needing to like, oh, this random person who is handcuffed to the cage, and you're gonna tell her to get the blood sample?
Yeah, well, I mean, he doesn't want to reach in there.
No, he's like, there's fucking tools and shit for that.
I guess.
And she obviously doesn't work for him. And maybe he just doesn't pay any attention to any of the lab.
Yeah. I don't care about the cyanide at all. Like, that's supposed to be like a tension thing, but it's like, well, no, what are we supposed to do? We're on the mainland now. We can't just let him... Like, the little girl pushes the button. Like, I understand it's the little girl, so we can't blame the grown-ups for it, because then they would have no excuse at all. She's just a little girl. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's just being emotional, but, you know, it's too late now. But still, like, now, like, she's gonna go to jail, right? Because, like, she, in effect, killed a bunch of people by releasing dangerous dinosaurs into the public. Like, and I guess, you know, I can't really sympathize with her, because they just spent the entire movie getting almost killed by dinosaurs, including her. So she's like, I couldn't let them. It's like, I guess, but weren't you like real scared a minute ago and like trying to fight against the dinosaurs? And I guess it's mostly ones that aren't going to hurt anybody again, but because I guess the dangerous ones have already been bought, but which those also are already out there, I guess, because they're driving off in the trucks.
Well, yeah, like I'm pretty sure having them bought doesn't mean they actually went anywhere.
Well, they seem to be just like they back the truck, which I'm glad that they explained that, because when they were just doing the auction, it was like big and fancy and dramatic, and I kept thinking like, what is the mechanism of this? Where how are they having like the thing comes up in the elevator and then it comes out and then it goes back in and then another dinosaur comes out? Like, do they have like a train like roundhouse kind of thing back there where like it backs up into a thing and the next one comes and gets turned and comes out? Like, how does it work back there? And all it really is just there's a garage door in the side of the building, and they just drive up on a truck and put it on the track, and it goes in, someone bids on it and buys it, and then they bring it back out, they put it on a truck, and the truck drives off, and they back up another truck. And so it's a much simpler mechanism. But I mean, we didn't know where the auction room was in the house, and they just keep showing us the train tracks, and it comes out and it's bright and it's in the shadows, and so it seemed like they came, like it was bought, it went on a truck, and the truck went to wherever it was going. Like they were just getting them out of there because they weren't putting them back in the cages.
Well, see, the thing is a lot of those areas, like the cages, were just like attached to the science lab area.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously we've seen them keep some there, but we know that a lot of the people who were doing the auctioning, you know, like, they were still there whenever, like, shit went crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't think they actually
work for them, though.
I don't think that they actually took the dinosaurs with them, like, whenever everybody was panicking and running off. I think they were just taking the dinosaurs to.
Well,
like
I don't think they took them, but I think they were already being taken.
Like to like a dock or something.
Like I think like the like they put it back in the truck, and then someone who works for whoever won gets in the truck and drives it away. Like you bought the truck in the price of the dinosaur. Like then
you could have bought several trucks for the price of the dinosaur.
But I mean, like, we'll just throw the truck in, if not for free, because we're gonna make all the money we can because we're like evil. But but you're not gonna like it's not gonna be like itemized or anything. Like one dinosaur, one truck with cage. Like you just it comes with it. We still charge you for it though.
Gas is extra.
Yeah. I mean, once it's your guy in the truck, then we're not paying for anything. Now, I do like Ted Levine, who played like the head mercenary guy, and it's kind of a shame because he tends to play, except for being the police captain on Monk, he mostly plays like bad guy henchman types. Like he's a bad guy henchman type in Flubber. And like a bunch of other things. I guess he's not a henchman, but he's just like a bad guy in what was the train movie that we watched where because he was in it. It's where the once you know who you hate speech comes from. I can't think of it, but he was the main bad guy in that. It wasn't Runaway Train because that was the one with other people's names that I can't remember. Secretary of Defense and Transformers. And I know that's not the thing that I should go to. It's Angelina Jolie's dad. Why can't I remember his name? But yeah, he's
Narrow Margins?
No, it's not Narrow Margin. That's the We Have to Get the Witness Back from Canada one.
Ah, that's right.
And that's Gene Hackman. But it's so, but even though he's not a henchman, he's still a bad guy. So like he tends to play bad guys. And I mean, they made him look rough in this. Like he's got like just enough beard to be like, I'm just out in the jungle and like I don't really shave, but like I take some off with my knife now and then. And he's all weathered looking and squinty, and like they made him really look like the mercenary guy that he's supposed to be. And it took me a minute to like realize who it was. Or I was like, wait, I know that voice. Who is this guy? And normally you see it like he's bald and he's got a hat on for like almost the whole thing. And then I think like it gets blown off or something right at the end just before he gets killed. But
well, the whole him collecting teeth thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like he's making money on the side, right? Like that's what's going on.
No, he said he's making them for a necklace.
Well, yeah, he says that, but
like my thing is like, it's not like you're killing them though.
No, so it's not like a real trophy. I mean, I guess it is like I captured these.
That's not. Well, he didn't fucking capture the Indoraptor. He's half that stuff. He's just around.
No, he had. I guess he took advantage of the situation. But
what was the dude from the second movie? The actual game hunter.
Oh yeah,
him. Like if he was doing it, I could understand because like that guy hunts and kills animals.
Yeah, he's like a Van Pelt type almost. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. This didn't. I mean, I didn't really understand what he was doing because like I just originally connected the teeth thing to like just in case something happens and we could make like we still collected the DNA because they're like getting the bone of the Indominus at the beginning and like that's an official real thing and I just like took it as being part of that. But then he has that necklace line later, which also he's real dumb for like getting in the cage with the thing.
Yeah.
Like even if maybe he thinks it's knocked out, like still there's no reason. He's putting himself in so much unnecessary danger for just no reason. And he hasn't been stupid the rest of the time. Like he's been pretty good at not getting killed by stuff or at keeping control of the situation. And then he just gives up control of the situation for no reason. And I mean, it was kind of neat, like seeing like the tail and he looks and it's not there. And like, we know the eye's open, but he doesn't. And like, we know he's going to get killed, but it was just so stupid for him to be in there that it was like hard to really care about it. Some of the rest of it though, were like, they're sneaking through the museum part and the stuff up on the roof and everything. Like some of that is some more of the effective action that they seem to know how to make. They can't make anything else. Which maybe that means this is not the fault of the director, because it's not like the good bit, because the good stuff is all not story stuff, it's mostly writing stuff. Then he had just had to do what he could with what he was handed. Now it is written, like half written by Colin Trevorrow, who directed and wrote the first Jurassic World, along with Derek Connolly. So this is written by the same two dudes as the first one. He didn't direct it. I'm not really sure why, but maybe he was directing something else. You know, this has already made like $730 million.
Yeah, I can believe it.
So, I do. I am still kind of interested by the idea of the like continuing consequence of this, like all the stuff that's in Dr. Malcolm's speech. Which, is he the only one testifying at that hearing? Because he gets to talk for a very long time. And he's at a table and there's one microphone and he has this name card and there's like nobody else. And we don't see any other testimony. Although I guess the hearing is supposed to have been going on all day because it's on the news and stuff. But, which also news, like real news, like BBC and somebody else. So what was the other network? Probably it should have been NBC, because this is a Universal movie. And they're owned by Comcast, which owns NBC. So, but I don't remember if it was. I think maybe it was. It was like MSNBC or something. It's on the like one of the microphone flags when the congressman is like, or whoever it is like, we can't make a government decision on this because we don't own it. Which you say nobody owns the island, but doesn't somebody, like, how did they structure it in the first Jurassic World? Like, did the company own the island, but the company is gone now because of what happened? And so then, I mean, it's still like somebody must have responsibility for it. But
We'll see. I kind of thought it was supposed to be a territory of like Costa Rica or something.
yeah, well, they do continue to insist on the like, this is how far this is from Costa Rica in the like title cards or the lower thirds, but which doesn't matter because other than that, Costa Rica is never mentioned. And so what difference does it make to us how far it is from Costa? It's not like they have to escape to Costa Rica or something, or they have to wait for help to come from Costa Rica. And so then we know like how far it is and how long. Like they set up a thing almost, it seems like, that has no consequence because it's not like near Costa Rica or in this ocean or whatever. It's like this exact number of miles from Costa Rica, and it's like, but why? Maybe does it tell us that in original Jurassic Park? Does it have the distance on the lower third? Maybe it's a callback to that. I can't remember.
That's not something I remember. I just remember the whole Costa Rica thing, like where you look at it on the map.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, it's right here, dunk.
Right here.
And then, of course, as a child, so I didn't know any better, and I kept looking for that damn place on the map.
Yeah, it's a made-up place. They lied to me in a movie.
It's not real.
Yeah.
How can they just do that?
They just
make
lie.
a movie and just lie.
Just lie. I totally forgot that Chris Pratt's character was in the Navy because they don't ever mention it in this movie.
Yeah.
But I just thought it's like a Navy veteran and former dinosaur trainer. It's like, oh, okay.
Kind of makes me wonder if he ever finished that cabin.
I think probably so. It's weird that we don't get like a scene. I guess it's because all we're doing is the. Well, no, you could have it because we have all of the stuff that's happening underneath the second half of the speech, and so it could be that like we see him like nailing the roof on the cabin, and then like a pterodactyl or something flies over.
But that's not what we get.
We don't get that. We never come back to the cabin. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna finish the cabin. I mean, they are already supposed to be making another movie that's supposed to come out in June of 2021. So maybe we'll find out if he finished the cabin in the next movie. I'm glad that because it's not a reboot, it's a continuation, that Michael Giacchino is like, no, I'm going to use the Jurassic Park theme here and there. Although I don't think that the movie deserves it most of the time.
Yeah,
like,
no.
especially at the end. Like, what I played at the beginning is actually the beginning of the end credits because it's the only time there's a full version of the theme like that. They use the like little bits of it played on solo piano and stuff here and there, like when she's doing the "Remember When You Saw Your First Dinosaur" thing. But just like getting to the end of the movie, which also is like heavy or supposedly heavy and like sad and dangerous and like dinosaurs are out there now. What are we gonna do? And it's like ambiguous and not actually happy.
People
and then,
own them.
Like it goes to black, and then like the Jurassic Park theme comes up, and it's triumphant and happy and exciting, and it's everything you want the Jurassic Park theme to be. But it's a whiplash of tone where it's like, Dr. Malcolm says we're all gonna die. Jurassic Park theme,
Yay!
and it's just like, yeah, it really is like we're all gonna die, yay! And it makes no sense at all.
Next
and
level
deserve.
God damn it! Next level self-deprecating
You might die.
in video format. Well, I'm pretty sure you're not going to just yell the T-Rex to go away. Like, hey, get out of my yard.
I mean, they did continue to have the T-Rex be a good guy in the annoying sort of way that they did at the end of the last movie. It ends up not being the final one because ends up being Blue. Although Blue only just sort of does it because really it's that dead Triceratops skull that does it.
Yeah. We just got to knock this bitch down through the window. Which
that was interesting too. They build the tension of that because then you just like you see it like struggling not to fall down, and then there's a flash of lightning, and you see the horns in it for just a moment, just flash into light from the dark. And then it climbs back up, and you're like, it was gonna fall on the spikes. And they didn't say like, if we can get it to fall down onto the Triceratops skull, then we can kill it. They lead you into it visually the same way they do with the flatline monitor.
Yeah. And then like Blue just happens to be crawling up the wall like on the other side. Like okay. Putting human characteristics on an animal is normally not a good thing. Why is Blue so angry? Like Blue has no reason to hunt the Indominus, the Indo. Like Blue has no direct reason to do it.
Dominance?
Yeah, I corrected myself.
No, dominance. Like Blue is like, I'm a raptor. I'm supposed to be in charge. I don't know what this is.
But see, they don't even
stop it.
They don't even have a scene where it's like the dominance would be questioned. Like it wasn't even that. It's just like
no, they don't have a fight before or anything.
Blue isn't around. Indo is like fucking some shit up. People are trying to run away, and then Blue just shows up, and it's just like, hey, no, and then just attacks it. There's nothing in between.
I mean, Chris Pratt's over there, and so maybe Blue's being protective of him, but it still had to climb all the way up there without knowing any of that.
Because it just shows up in the bedroom with the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, what? Because because it's that, and then like after that, I can understand. Okay, well they're fighting, and Blue doesn't want to lose or something, and so Blue's gonna keep tracking it down. Which for some reason is also interesting. Why the Indoraptor would stay so focused on the people comparatively.
Yeah, it doesn't really have any reason to.
Because it
hasn't been
didn't
targeted
kill.
To kill them.
Like it's not like it killed Blue and now it's after the next target, because that's what it's been doing. There's target, kills target, move on. There's target, kills target, move on.
There actually was something, which then they don't do because they end up using it for something else and he gets killed entirely on his own and it doesn't matter. But there was an opportunity there to, when they're having the Dinoprod fight, when they're in the auction room, to have somebody get the gun with the laser on it and target the main guy.
Yeah.
But then like nobody notices. And so then the movie progresses, but then like eventually it comes back and kills him because it's still targeted to him and he doesn't know, and we've forgotten about it by then. Because like when they start in that scene, I'm like, he's gonna get, like, that's what's gonna happen. That's what I thought was gonna happen. And then they don't use that at all. They introduce the idea of the targeting and then never use it for anything.
And they try to use it for the roof.
Well, they do, but then they don't. He really easily realizes what her plan is.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, she's targeting him. Why? Oh, because he's just gonna like jump out of the way and like hope it kills itself. But then if it doesn't, then now it's targeted to him. Like, and couldn't you have also just like targeted it to something over there? Just to stop, just remove it from the situation. Just like point it over there and press the button, and then it's going to run over there and you can run away. Because they don't know that they're going to make it fall onto the dead Triceratops skull horns. Like, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're going to do. She needs to stop it from killing Owen.
Well, it's like they were like, they try to give us the visualization that they're going to, it'll fall through the glass because it's too heavy. Because it's like, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it takes a step and then it's like oh, wait.
Crack, and it's like,
and realizes, and
I better pay attention and walk on the center rail. And so, like, everybody sees that. Like, that's not even debatable. But when she shows up, she has the gun, and then she just points it at him. Mm-hmm. It's like that moment, because she wasn't there to witness it.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that one. All right. Yeah,
it's like when characters walk into a room and finish the last line of a conversation that they didn't hear the rest of.
Yeah.
Just because it's dramatic. Which also, like, you touched on it earlier in the synopsis, but like, we just have to say, watches videos of dead raptors cliche, just because it serves exactly the same purpose, just for structure reasons as dead wife videos of dead wife, videos of dead kids, and like, it's almost never effective. No. Like, ever.
It's adorable.
It's never like, we understand, like, you don't need to reinforce your relationship with and some of it's Blue, but also it's other raptors too.
The only one they ever focus on is Delta, because he does the thing where it's like, if he shows weakness and like Delta jumped on him. Yeah. But like, other than that, like, it showed
it's mostly Blue.
Yeah, it's mostly Blue. And it's adorable. I don't like, they turn off the lights and they're trying to use the kind of reflective material that's on the glass, so they can sneak through the exhibit. But when they realize that the lights are turning back on, they don't even attempt to move forward. They just stand there and hope that they're not seen.
Yeah.
And that's when like the little girl like leans forward, and then it's like the endo is like facing them. And it's like really? Really? Like, you can see the lights turning on from the other side of the room. Move that ass.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because they want the art. They do the artistic moment at the expense of the rest, because like you can just barely see it. Like, you don't know it's there. You see her reflection in the glass, then it's coming from the other side, and then like the reflections and her actual face become like a 3-layer thing, and then she screams, and then it roars, and so then the faces match again for a moment. And so like, they're trying to do the artistic visual of it, but it doesn't make any sense that they wouldn't just run. And also, I don't understand how like rebooting the system resets like physical switches that he moved down there in the control panel.
Yeah.
But
well, I was a little interested, because the whole reason for the reboot is so they can try to get the vents back on,
which doesn't work.
But like, the vents not working. Was there? Okay, so I don't know how the systems are programmed, but wouldn't the systems tell you why they're not working?
Like
physical malfunction.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a physical malfunction, or if it was like damaged somehow by the dinosaurs or by something that was going on.
It was that
Because
explosion.
we don't know. Yeah, so it might be that.
The gas explosion that Blue just ran away from.
Yeah.
Kind
Which
of-
that was neat too. Because
Kind of reminded me of like Tom Cruise Mission
Yeah.
Impossible kind of shit.
It was it was played that way, where it's like
what?
character runs away from explosion, then jumps at the last moment and then gets thrown around.
Dun, dun, dun,
Um,
dun, dun.
Which they do a lot of running in this movie
Yeah.
too. Probably not as much running as Tom Cruise does in a Mission Impossible movie, but they do a lot of running.
You know, it's also kind of funny. Like they're running away from everything but the carnivores, except for the Indoraptor. But that's
Yeah,
because they
like
ran
all
away
the
from the
ones
lava.
on the cliff. Yeah, it's lava. The dinosaurs on the cliff aren't trying to hurt them,
Yeah.
except that they might step on them.
And then like whenever a carnivore does show up to be like, hey, they're just like, let's stand still. We'll wait for the environment to stop it. The T-Rex just comes up and just smacks the shit out of it. Get out of the way. For no real reason. They just do it to save the main characters. That's the literally only reason why it happens. Because it's still alive. And somehow it did get off the island. Because we see it again towards the very end of the movie trying to eat the legs of the dude that's trying to sell these dinosaurs off. Why is it even near the T-Rex? That thing can, like, bite its head off. It's like a third of the size. Really? Screw your artistic vision if your story is shit.
Yeah.
Spit in your direction.
So how do we feel about stars?
I've actually been really hard thinking on this one. Because I want to give it a 2. But I really do enjoy the first half of the movie.
Well, I mean, there's still like bad story in the first half. There's like more extended, effective other sequences, but there's still a lot of terrible stuff too. Like it's pretty consistently, alternately, like effective and good and terrible in about equal amounts, which is makes it difficult. Because like, okay, so separate from however much stars it is, I do still think that you should see it like in like a theater setting if you have any interest in it at all, because like the big action set piece type stuff is really good.
Yes.
And you should see in a big setting.
We get to look directly inside of a Triceratops's mouth. Is that Triceratops or is that another species? It may have been a different species. It just comes up and just licks Pratt right in the face.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, there's some lava coming. You might want to get up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that too, with him like struggling to not be paralyzed by the sedative anymore while the lava comes along. I feel like there's a scene like that in something else. I can't remember what it is, but it like reminded me really heavily of something that I had seen before, with him like using his, like he's picking up his arm with his other arm to move it and just like really and I can't remember what it is. I think I do have to say 2, because there's so much bad. But even in spite of that, like it's weird to say, like, because like normally, like when Interstellar got a 2, I don't remember recommending that you see it.
No.
But like this, I still do. Like it's not overall good in a consistent way, but I still think it's worth the theatrical experience. Kind of in the way like Avatar is, not to the extent or for the same reasons, but like if you watch Avatar now, James Cameron's Avatar, people are like, "What's this? Why did people care? Why did it make so much money?" It's like, well, you don't remember what it was like in 2009, 2008 when you saw it the first time, in like big 3D And and especially if you saw it in like IMAX or something, but even if you didn't, even if you just saw it in like a decent theater in good 3D, like it was an experiential thing that you'd never had before, and that overrode the bogusness of so much of the rest of it. And this is it's kind of like that in a much smaller scale way. So I think it's too. It doesn't get more than 2. It doesn't get less than 2. But it doesn't get more than 2, but you should still see it.
I still think the original trilogy is better.
Well, yes.
Even if 2 and 3 have issues.
Well, if you cut 20 minutes off the end of 2, it's really good. Like everything up till then, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Just don't watch it's just like, we're going to San Diego. Credits. Like, if you just watch it that way, like, you don't have to watch the rest of it. It's not important. They never call back to it. Like, just watch until they get on the boat back to San Diego and then just stop.
Now, so what you got to do? What you got to do is you got to cut there, and then you cut back in when they're sitting in the house watching the news about everything being good, and like everything's happy, and like it's like, oh, no more problems, everything's fixed.
I guess so.
Because there's the footage of like the dinosaurs on the island that they have from like a plane shot.
No, yeah.
It's just like, oh, Hammond's dream. The dinosaurs are safe. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Dun.
Did you say how many?
2.
Okay. Actually, there was something else. So they're like, I forgot about that. But you just reminded me with that. Like they say like Hammond's dream was to just let the dinosaurs be free, and it's like, no, it wasn't. He never said that. That wasn't his dream.
No.
He built Jurassic Park. He spared no expense. Like he wanted, like people were gonna come and look at him. He didn't let him free. He built the fence. It was not Hammond's dream. Stop it with your revisionist Jurassic Park history. Stop it.
I built a theme park, god damn it. Like, spared no expense. Now get in here and eat that Jell-O.
Jell-O. And that's all we have to say about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We'll see you next time.
Later.
It could have been fucking raining lava.
We're obviously trapped here.
They're dead.